Meanwhile, according to the Panjshir resistance forces, they repelled a Taliban attack on their outpost in the province's southern part. The group says Taliban leaders tried to enter Panjshir. Taliban members tried to enter but were defeated. Sources say that there were casualties among the Taliban fighters and several of them were taken as prisoners. According to reports, the Taliban has been concentrating forces around Panjshir, and the negotiation process between the resistance forces and the Taliban is yielding no results.
Last night there was an attack by Taliban at the entrance of the Panjshir Valley. They may have tried to test their luck to enter in Panjshir, but they were unlucky. They have lost 7 or 8 and same number wounded. Unfortunately, a couple of resistance personnel also were wounded.
Our principal diplomatic correspondent spoke to a leader of the resistance front who emphasized that the current situation in Panjshir is stable and that there is no disruption. Listen in.
Now, what about the talks which we have heard between the national resistance and Taliban? Where are they going? Is there any resolution in sight?
So there are informal negotiations, and there is a dialogue between the National Resistance Front and the Taliban movement. However, we've had our conditions. We've proposed our conditions and our demands for a peaceful Afghanistan, an Afghanistan that will experience lasting peace. And they are decentralization of power and resources, preserving democracy, establishing social justice, guaranteeing the equality of everyone. So equality is very important for us. Guaranteeing the rights and freedoms of all citizens of Afghanistan. So these are the conditions that we've proposed, and we believe if these conditions are met, we can form an inclusive government which represents every single citizen in Afghanistan, regardless of their race, religion, and gender.
Mm-hmm. There were reports as well of a ceasefire being agreed upon. Any word on that?
Well, there was an agreement, a gentleman's agreement that there wouldn't be any offensives, there wouldn't be any fighting. However, last night there was fighting in the southern part of Panjshir. Forces, the aggressors, tried to enter Panjshir. However, they faced defeat. They were defeated and they retreated to Charakar.
The northern province of Panjshir is the only province that has not fallen to the Taliban. The group failed to capture the Panjshir Valley, which lies approximately 140 kilometers north of the capital, Kabul. The fighters from Panjshir are part of the National Resistance Front, which is the remaining strongest force after the siege of Kabul by the Taliban. While speaking to WION, the Resistance Front leader also said that they do not believe the Taliban is intent on forming an inclusive government.
If we talk about Taliban, they have been saying, and of course regionally as well as at the United Nations Security Council, there has been call for an inclusive government. Do you think the Taliban will fulfill its commitments or its intent when it comes to forming an inclusive government in Kabul?
Unfortunately, no. The Taliban do not believe in any sort of inclusivity. They believe they're the victors. They should be the dominant force in the government. They should be forming the political system of the country, dominate it, and then use others as tokens. Give a few ministerial posts, ambassadorial posts, give them a few positions in government, but they are not going to be decision makers. They are not going to be policy makers. policy making and decision making is going to be dominated by the Taliban. So that's their version of the future government. We're against this. We believe Afghanistan is a country made up of ethnic minorities. There is no majority. So one political force, one ethnic group cannot dominate the political landscape.
My last question to you, sir, is on India. Where do you see India currently when it comes to the situation in Afghanistan? And how do you see India's role in Afghanistan? India, of course, in the last 20 years have been playing an important role in terms of capacity building, in terms of infrastructure development. So if your reaction on that?
Well, we believe India is a very important player in the region. We cannot ignore it. We believe there should be economic ties with India, trade routes open to India, and from India to Central Asia, from Central Asia to India.
Hello. The National Resistance Front is led by Ahmad Massoud, the son of Ahmad Shah Massoud, who was once an influential leader who fought against the Taliban in the 1990s. Massoud has vowed to never surrender to the hardline Islamist group, but has said that he was open to negotiations with the new rulers of Afghanistan. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.